Hello, everyone. Welcome to tonight's stream. If you missed me and you want to know when I'm going to be live next, I do now have a schedule on my website, and that is linked down below. So that should always be linked down below from every night moving forward. And that way you guys can actually see when I'm going to be live. Next week is going to be a members only night. It's going to be our last members only night for a while. I'm kind of phasing out those memberships. They are going to come back, but for now I just need some more subscribers before we can make these membership tiers more feasible for me for timing. But if you guys are in those membership levels, you should already know about that. So that is going to be next week, and I'm not quite sure when I'm going to be on next. Again, I have such a funky schedule with the holidays. That's why I decided to make kind of like a calendar on my website so you can see at any time when I'm going to be on next. So that is that. Welcome. Please subscribe if you are new here. And this week's video, what we've got coming up, because it's Black Friday and because we've got the holidays coming up, I am going to be making a fun little gift video for you guys. I'm actually going to be filming it tomorrow. Hang on. This is bothering me. I can never see the setup before I start streaming because it like hides it from me. Hello, everyone. Hey, Silly Rabbit. Hey, Yurka. Hey, love is the answer. What was I saying? I was talking about, this week's video. So we're going to be jumping back into a lot of like instructional videos. I know I kind of did a lot of vloggy fun stuff for October. And I'm going to be back doing got a ton of more like instructional stuff. So following week is going to be like a dreaming video. I know I've got more Claire videos coming up. One that I'm really excited to record is I'm going to be giving you my best tips on how to be a better reader. So that video is coming up. I think I'm going to actually do like a candle magic video, and I'm actually going to maybe collab with somebody on that. So yeah. Bunch of fun stuff, but this week is going to be showing you guys like my top favorite metaphysical like gifts that you can get yourself or get for others, because it is holiday time and we're shopping for other people, and sometimes you don't always people and you want to get them something like woo-woo, but there's different levels of like, ooh, are they into this, are they not? So that's going to be this Friday's. So tonight, the outline, the theme of tonight is going to be thankfulness, because we've got Thanksgiving coming up this week. And I'm just going to be focusing on at least the group reading. I'm asking, okay, like how can we be more grateful? What should we know? What should we know? Kind of basically moving into the rest of the year. I think I am going to do a pick a card reading about 2022. Let me know if you guys would want to see that, of just kind of like what to expect for the whole year. And so we're going to be focusing on thankfulness. And part of that is me thanking you guys for subscribing, for being here. And so I'm going to end tonight by doing some speed readings. Probably not end. We'll probably do it a little bit more in the middle. Just going to give myself some time to warm up, let anybody who really needs a donation to come through first, and then we'll kind of do those speed readings, and then we'll probably end with more kind of like donated readings. So this is kind of my speed reading thank you night for you guys for supporting me, for being here. I appreciate and love you all. So yeah, that is kind of tonight. Was there any more announcements that I wanted to make? I think besides letting you guys know that next week is the members week, so members, make sure that you put that in your calendar so you don't miss it. Especially because that member video will not be up to watch later on. So if you can't make it, maybe, I don't know. I guess if you can't make it, you can't make it. But that video will probably disappear in like a day or two. Usually with the membership videos, you still have access to them. But because I am taking away those tiers, I'm not sure if those videos will disappear. So we'll see. We'll find out. So make sure you're there live so you don't miss anything. And then the last thing I wanted to let you guys know is that I am doing more kind of podcasts, just individual podcasts. And you can find those in the links down below. And those I'm kind of reserving for less, I don't know. It's for things that I want to talk about, but they don't quite fit in as videos because maybe I want to talk really long and lengthy about it. It's a lot more about like my personal life, which I know not everyone here is like interested in that. They just want to come to learn how to grow their psychic abilities. So that podcast is sort of existing there. And there's going to be a new episode up, I'm hoping like Friday or this weekend. And I'm going to be talking about my Saturn return, which apparently I've been going through the last couple months. Had no idea, but it totally makes so much sense. And everybody goes through Saturn returns once every 30 years. And I just now found out about this. And then when I was looking at when it started, I was like, yep, that makes sense. So I'm going to talk about what it is and kind of what to expect, because even if you're past the age of 30, you're probably going to hit another one when you're about 60, a little less than, and then hopefully when you're 90 again. So that is something that I think applies to everyone. So I will talk to you guys about that in my newest podcast. If you guys want to subscribe, again, the link is kind of in my link tree down below. But I'm going to get into the message for everyone tonight. And again, this was kind of asking about, hey, what do we need to know just kind of going into the rest of this year? And what's the energy that we're facing? And it's interesting because the cards that I pulled, I feel like we already know we're here. We've been here for a bit. And this is just kind of like, how can we deal with it? Let me catch up on comments. Caught up on your Halloween vlog. Yay! Thank you, Marissa. My vlogs typically perform so awfully, and I'm so bad at just looking at the analytics. And thankfully, you guys like let me know and you give me comments, and you're like, "No, I love this," but I know that my vlogs do not perform as well. I've been thinking like nonstop about making like a separate vlog channel, but I don't know. But I appreciate that you loved it. I put so much time and effort into that video. It was ridiculous. I basically filmed myself for like 2 weeks. It was a long time. Love is the answer. Yes, technically you can see any, like as a psychic, you can ask, hey, what is this person's strongest abilities? And, using your psychic clairs, you can ask that question and get an answer. Turkey! Same. I have Saturn in Aquarius too. I know. And I don't know how I just now found out about it, but I have about like a month left. No, a month and a half left of my Saturn return. So I'm going to be talking about like what happens, and I'll probably do a follow-up podcast on like, okay, what was the whole thing like? I'm getting my Saturn return soon, and I'm scared. Hello. Hello. Yeah, if you want to tell, I think just type in, I think I just Googled like Saturn return calculator, and then you can type in your birthday and it'll tell you the date range. So mine like started in April of this year, and mine's going to finish like January 3rd of next year. So I'm excited. All right, so again, group reading, this is kind of for everybody. I do this at the beginning of my nights in case like you missed it. There's still a message here for you. But what I feel like we've all come to realize, and we're all kind of in this zone right now, is that we needed to take a break. Time for a nap. And you guys probably can tell from myself as well, I really needed this, and that's why I've kind of step back a little bit on my lives, because I've needed to take a break and just chill out a little bit. But I feel like this is kind of where we're all at. We're like, okay, I was pushing too hard. I was trying too hard. Maybe, you were trying to manifest something and you were just going and not stopping and actually living in the moment is what I'm hearing. And because of that, we've all kind of collectively are in this zone of just like, I'm not going to do anything. Like, I'm just going to take my time. I'm going to let this year finish, and I'm going to do the bare minimum. And I think that is exactly what we should be doing. And I think for those of you who are like, oh, maybe I should be doing this, and I haven't even thought of it, then maybe this message is, hey, this is what you should be doing. And I think the reason why we realize this is we realize, our life is not complete. We're not done. There's still growing. There's still we need to learn, still things that we need to do. Unfinished symphony is basically saying, we haven't reached the end. We're not done learning all the things that we need to learn, and therefore we can just kick our feet up and do nothing. And so the Unfinished Symphony card is basically us realizing, hey, there's still more here for me. There's things that I can't see that are going to come up in my life, and I'm just going to take a break and allow them to come to me. And I think the greatest part about this reading is then we get the coming to life card. So information, especially for those of you who have a hard time taking a break, and trusting in this process, that this is going to usher in the next chapter, whatever that chapter is for you. Maybe it's just that you need, it could be something small, it could be something big, but this new chapter is kind of saying, maybe I shouldn't say chapter, because chapter implies that it is big, but it's kind of like the ending of a cycle and the beginning of a new cycle. And this is confirmation that if you do this, it will result in this coming to life, this new rebirth, this new cycle chapter beginning. And I think that's what we all want. And we're all just kind of like releasing the reins a little bit. And I think during this whole, I feel like this has been the last couple months for some of us. Maybe for some of you, it's only been the last few weeks. But tell me if you resonate with this, because this is all about being cracked open. Rock bottom, surrendering to the alchemy of life. I don't know. I'm kind of also hearing that for some of you this might have just been your year as well. And the reason why we're being cracked open is that things were just not working for us. And I'm already getting into the Saturn return a little too much, but that's basically what Saturn returns do, is they crack you open, they reveal what's not working, and they say, hey, if you want to move forward in life, if you want to manifest the things you really want to manifest, you really got to change this. And it kind of brings those things to life. And so maybe that's the energy that a lot of us have been going through, being cracked open and having to face all of the stuff that's spilling out, if that makes sense. And I love that I pulled this card as well, because it says you're not for everyone. And I think maybe just a select few of you guys need to hear this. And that's just saying, I feel like you're judging the process. I feel like you're trying to keep up with everyone around you, or you're trying to say oh, I should be over this. Oh, I should be much further. I should be this. I should be that. And the you're not for everyone, I think, could be taken literally as there might be people in your life that have fallen away because of this, and that's okay. And that's definitely something that has happened through my Saturn return. Sorry, it's a little chilly in here. We have a bad cold front coming in, and my heater is attempting to heat up. So I'm in my ugly jacket, but it's warm. But the you're not for everyone card, I think it's just confirmation that, hey, you don't have to be for everyone. And I think it's saying that, this new time period, the fact that you're slowing down, it's making us nervous, because we're oh, I'm not supposed to be doing this. We're playing the comparison game of well, they're moving forward, they're doing just fine. But it's the game has changed, is what I'm hearing loud and clear. And they're not playing the same game as you. And maybe it's not somebody specifically that you're thinking of. It could just be that, you are worried about, in general, what people will think of you if you don't do X, Y, or Z. And right now is a time to receive rather than give. I pulled this card in reverse, which is the opposite. It's about giving instead of taking. But I really feel like we need to be receiving. We need to be taking in all the things that we need to survive, to live and breathe. And just honestly, when I think of this, I think of self-care. So putting in the time to, go to bed on time. Are you journaling? Are you doing those things that really light you up at the end of the day? And those are different for everybody. For some of you, that might be exercise. For some of you, that might be, again, journaling. But it's different for everyone. And I recently found out that one of my ways that I really need to give to myself is that I really need to read before bed. I really like to decompress at the end of the night by reading. And I usually like to read some sort of fiction, and really get into that imaginative state, because then it actually translates into my dreams. I'm kind of going to bed and my imagination is stimulated, and then I'm falling asleep, and then it kind of makes for better dreams. But if I go to bed too late, I can't read. And it sometimes bothers my husband if I'm reading too late into the night. So, it's very important for me, and this is something that I've realized, it's something small, but it's a self-care thing for me of, okay, I'm going to go into the bedroom about 30 minutes early so I can read and read my book and get that time in for myself so that I can still go to bed on time. And so that's just an example. But I feel like this is all coming full circle to taking this nap, taking this break, receiving, understanding that, there's still more to learn, that the things in our life that are cracking us open, that are revealing things, are things that we need to fix, and things not fix as much as address. And during this process, don't compare yourself. Don't compare yourself to everybody and what everyone else is doing. You're on your own path. And if you kind of follow this guidance, you're going to come to life. You're going to head into this new chapter. It's going to happen a lot quicker than you might have realized. And if you're trying to fight this whole process, I think that it ends up prolonging it. And that's something I'm going to talk about in this podcast, is if I would have known that I was in my Saturn return, and the whole thing of the Saturn return is to flow with it, not fight it, and I was just fighting it, it makes me wonder if I would have gotten through this a lot easier. But at least I know now that I'm in the middle of it, and then I can at least, when I do my follow-up podcast, basically talk about, okay, when I was aware of the rest of it, what happened. All right, guys, that was the group reading. So we're going to jump into individual readings. I'm just going to kind of warm up first, and then we'll jump into speed readings. And again, if you're new here, individual readings, basically you can send a donation through my Venmo or through the super chat. And then sometimes we do guessing games if nobody has donated, and then we will do the speed readings again. Must be for me. I'm literally dozing in and out of sleep. Not because of you, Lauryn. Just today, I feel like a couch potato. I feel you. That's what I've been doing a lot of, is I've been taking a lot of breaks. It feels nice, but I'm also just ugh. This is the first thing I've done today that's sort of work related. I was mostly watching my son today. All right. Spot on, extra hard on myself lately. I'm not for everyone. Hey, Lori. Journaling for me, or brain dump, as I tell my husband. Yes. That's helpful too for me when I'm just going through a ton of emotions, and I don't quite understand those emotions. Journaling is just ugh. And my new favorite self-care thing has been, in the morning, I go get a cup of coffee from Starbucks, and on the way, I either listen to a podcast or I listen to a pick a card reading, and it just starts my day off so well. I love it. I used to wake up and just watch YouTube videos of random nonsense, but I'm purposely trying to wake up and watch things that will either improve me spiritually, mentally, physically, or even business wise. You have a book for me. What is it? How do we know when we are fighting the process versus standing? Ooh, that's a good question, Silly Rabbit. I'll have to think on that more. But really, I know I'm fighting the process when everything seems to be falling apart around me. It's when you hit the red light, and then, this thing fell through and that thing fell through, and then you lost your money. And it's all these bad things just seem to cascade all at once. I feel that's a message from the universe of stop, pay attention. We're trying to get you to see that you're trying to push the wrong way. And that's for me how I noticed, but there might be more things that I just don't notice yet, because I'm definitely not the best at this. But you guys, if anyone else has any ideas, throw it up in the comments, because that's a great question. And I feel there's a lot of intuitive people that have YouTube channels that purely their whole channel is talking about like manifesting. And I think some people talk about it really well and some people are pretty vague about it. And I worry that I'm on the more vague side. I try not to be, but the Little Shop of Found Things. Okay, I'll write it down. What is it about? I guess I can look it up. Hello, Jenna. Welcome. Using our free will. Okay. Awesome. So let's get into individual readings. We're going to do this for a second, or a little bit more than a second, and then we will do speed readings. Woohoo! I haven't done speed readings in a really long time, so I was like, need to warm up my abilities. I mean, sometimes that happens, silly rabbit, and then it's like that's just one thing. But I feel like when it's multiple things, it's like, oh my gosh. Like, I will say that this new moon just like shook me. I don't know about you guys. The new moon eclipse. And I'm also like in this zone of like, oh my gosh, is the astrology stuff just like manifesting, or what is it called? Self-fulfilling prophecies. And I'm really struggling with that and trying to kind of like find that balance. But during the full moon, it was bizarre because I got a grant for like $1,000 that just goes into my pocket. And that was amazing. But then the next day, my cat got diagnosed with diabetes, and that was like a $300 bill. And then we ended up like finding out we had less money than we thought we had and couldn't get as much groceries as we wanted. And it was just like all these things that were just like chaos. And my point is that, what is my point? That night I realized I need to stop being in negative money mentality. I have money. Everything is okay. There's abundance. But sometimes when it's just like thing after thing after thing, sometimes I think of that as like a wake up call of like, hey, pay attention to your thoughts. Like, what are you doing? It doesn't feel good when you trust the process. It feels good. Definitely. Alrighty. So let's do a guessing game. This is just coming randomly. I am thinking of a flower. If you can name the flower that I'm thinking of, then you get the reading, and I'm going to turn up my heater so I don't have to wear this silly, annoying jacket. It's just a radiant heater, so it doesn't like blow. Lily! Love is the answer. You got it. Making sure. Oh, Yurika, you were so close. So, love is the answer. Let me know what question you have. I have a couple decks tonight. I grabbed my Wisdom of the Oracle. I have Enchanted Map tonight. And then I have Starseed Oracle and my Moonology. Yay! What is my strongest ability? You basically came in and you like manifested getting the answer to that question, didn't you? Gerber, is that a type of flower? What? Cardanium? I don't know. I'm not very good with flowers. What is my strongest? I heard Lily. Well, heck, then maybe it's clairaudience. You know, this is kind of weird, but I actually feel like I'm getting clairalience, which is smelling. I feel like that's not the case right now, but I actually feel like once you start developing all of your clairs, you're going to be like, whoa, I actually receive a lot of information through smells. But right now, I kind of feel like maybe you're a little bit more clairsentient. I don't think you feel things like physical sensations as much as emotions. I think you're really good at picking up on others' emotions, and you probably are determining that as like, no, I understand how people work. But I think that actually leads into how you understand people a little bit more. And I think that's actually coming from that Claire. Because clairsentience, a lot of times people think it's like touch, physical feelings, but they also forget about the emotions. And I think a lot of people label it as like, oh, I'm just a really good judge of character. But technically that is a Claire. And sometimes you can be a really bad judge of character because you really can't tell what other people are thinking or feeling. Hello, Lucy. Welcome. I smell things no one else can all the darn time. Didn't know it was a power. LOL. Yes. And I will have an updated video on Claire Aliens and Claire Gustins eventually. So Alley Cat, if that resonated for you too, heck yeah, take it. I don't have PayPal set up anymore. I'm sorry, Amanda. PayPal is dumb and it won't let me like have multiple businesses through it. I guess that's fair, but I had to keep it for my other business. Anyway. Hey, Michelle. I smelled perfume the other day. I don't know perfume. There you go. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, I feel like love is the answer. Like right now, it's probably not the one that comes through strongest, but I feel like if you started to practice, you would actually find that pretty strong. There are some people that do readings purely with clairaudience, Claire Aliens and Claire Gustins. They just smell and they taste, and that's all they do, and they can do a full reading off of that, which is so cool to me. I could even taste it when no one was around. Ooh. Heck yeah. I'm glad I said it because to me, like, I don't think I've ever gotten that might be somebody's strongest Claire. You thought of a childhood friend. Well, it sounds like, Lucy, you might have gotten a psychic hit. And it's good that you're paying attention to how you received it, because then you know what Clairs might be strongest for you. And you felt like you were going crazy over him. I would say, do you know if that was your emotions or somebody else's? Because it might have been a spirit coming in. You're welcome. And again, I'll have updated Claire videos. I'm going to space them out so they're not like all back to back, but that is definitely coming up soon. How do you send it through the YouTube? There's a little dollar symbol at the bottom, and you just click on that. Thank you, Yurika. After this, I'm going to go up and watch. There's a new Disney special on Disney Plus called the Walt Disney Archives, and I'm so excited. I'm going to Disney in April. Oh, that is so cool. Love is the answer. Thank you for validating that. I was like, I don't know if I should say this. Is this right? Mickey the Chinchilla. Silly Rabbit. She's got me. She's got me with my pet names. Alrighty. And my son now knows who Mickey Mouse is, and he'll come up and he'll point at my shirt, and he's got like 50 Mickey Mouse plushies because they were all like mine. And he's always like, Mom, Mom, Mom. How do you feel about past life regression hypnosis? I love it. I don't think I've ever talked about it, but I had to do a lot of them actually when I was studying, and I did a few in those classes where I was learning, and I've done a few with like friends. Like we come over and we're like, let's see if there's like path that we might have lived together, or just we're gonna go on a journey together. But yeah, I think it's a belief, and if you don't believe that you can have past lives, then it might not work for you. And I think that's why I tend to not do the past life stuff too much on my channel, because I try to keep it really like, I try to keep my beliefs out of things, which is really hard to do. But yeah, I don't know why I have a list of meditations that I want to do, and past life regressions is like one of them. But I actually like really doing it through Shamanic Journey. I'm not doing very good at these readings, am I? I'm just kind of like answering random questions. Yay, you're welcome. Love is the answer. You have a hyperactive sense of smell. That's funny. All right, let's do another giveaway reading. I'm thinking of a color. If you can think of the color that I'm thinking of, then you get a reading. They do, Jana. I've done several before. I say if you're feeling called to it, go for it. Michelle M, you got it. Green. So Michelle M in purple. Let me know what your question is. And I apologize, you guys. I'm starting to get so many readings and so many like people in these live chats that I know I've like vaguely remember some of you guys. I know I've done readings for you guys, and whenever you call me up for another reading, you're like, oh, the last reading. And then I'm like, oh, I don't remember. And I feel so guilty. But at the same time, I tell everybody like, it's good that I don't remember your last reading because you want me to come in without a previous bias, and you don't want me to try to fit a new reading into your past reading to like uphold the validation of the last reading, if that makes sense. Why was I talking about that? I don't know. I'm talking about that. Never thought of them as psychic hits until I took your class. Well, and I didn't know they were either until I took those classes as well. Yay! Happy Thanksgiving, Michelle. All right. I want to grab this deck. Are you really tired, Michelle? I think it's affecting your energy level. That's like the first thing I'm getting. Okay. So like what I'm seeing is like all the health stuff is kind of like draining you, and you're like tired, and then the tiredness is sort of like causing other problems. Exhausted. Gosh, and they're showing me a vitamin, but I don't know what vitamin it is, and I have no context because I don't know anything about vitamins. I want to say B. I don't know. Don't take vitamins though. Don't. What am I saying? Don't take anything without researching it first. But it feels like the exhaustion is like making it worse, and it's like this circle where like the health stuff is making you exhausted, and you're sitting around not doing anything, and then like the exhaustion makes it so that it's even harder to get on top of these health problems. And like the biggest thing that I'm getting is like moving your body, getting outside, which is why I was like wondering if it was like vitamin D. They're telling me though that it's something similar to like, although it's not, like something like seasonal affective disorder. It's like I can see it, but I don't have the context or the vocabulary to know what it is. But it's something like you're not getting enough of something. Maybe it's sunlight. Maybe it's a vitamin. I feel like it's a vitamin because of your exhaustion, because you're not getting up and moving, because you're not like exercising. And therefore that lack is just kind of creating more of that problem. I know that they talk about it in the book, How to Do the Work. So I wonder if that's possibly it. But let me pull some cards. That was just like the first thing that I was getting. You have a B12 deficiency. Shut up, Michelle. Shut up. I'm not like chronically ill. Yeah, like I think that's it. Like biggest prescription that I was getting intuitively first, Michelle, was just like get off your butt. Like I know like they were showing me something similar of like when I first had my son, and it was like those first couple weeks where he was just a newborn. It was like we would sit around and just like we would just be so exhausted that we'd sit on the couch all day, and we would really only get up to like deal with him. And then we finally started to realize, like, you know what? We've had more sleep recently. Like, we shouldn't be this bad. I think it's because we're just so like couch locked that it's making it harder to handle it. And so then I think we started just forcing ourselves to like actually do some work and like clean up the house and do other things throughout the day. And then it was like we were infinitely less tired. Like, don't get me wrong, we were still exhausted. But there was something about sitting around that made it even worse. Like, that's kind of what I'm getting for you. But let's see if there's anything else. Like, to me, it's like this sitting around. Like, I'm taking these so literally. So this is deep freeze in reverse. To me, this is saying like you're frozen, you're hibernated, and this is not what you should be doing. And maybe that's also a little bit of like mentally, maybe examine like how you got to this spot. Maybe there was something that you needed to kind of pull away from, kind of turned into a hermit, and maybe ask yourself, okay, why did that happen? Am I done with that process? Is there still anything I need to release around that? And then this is like such two contrasting cards. I also pulled this one in reverse, flying. And to me, I'm kind of getting this energy of get up, go, move your body. So I think we need to shift from this into this. And I'm feeling like it's very much just making the active decision to get up and do something different. That's what they say a lot of times with depression is sometimes you can be depressed, but you have to force yourself to just start a new routine and stick to the new routine and force your body to do it. And then your mind will catch up. And sometimes the routine will kind of get you out of it. Hello, Crystal. All right. I think I'm going to shift into speed readings right now. So speed readings are basically you throw up a question. I do not feel prepared. And then I answer questions very quickly, very briefly. So if you need more clarity, maybe ask the question in a different way. You can ask multiple questions. You're not just limited to one. The whole point of this for me is that it's supposed to be like fast, if that makes sense. You're welcome, Michelle. And I will say, too, that if you want to send a donation through the middle of this, that's totally fine. I will stop and get to whatever donated reading so that you can actually have a longer reading. And then, thank you, Lori. Is it correct? I hope it's still right in the description. I'm vaguely remembering now that at one point it was wrong. And I also forgot to set my member timer. So I'm setting my member timer now. When this timer goes off, whatever member comments closest to it will get a free reading. And that's a perk for being one of the 99 cent tier. Amanda, am I becoming stronger in my mediumship? Yes, if you trust it. It's very like, if you're not trusting it, it's not working. I always feel like I don't make enough. Gosh, I've been working on my magical practices, and you don't feel like you're making enough practices? Maybe re-ask that, Jordan, because I'm not sure if you're asking about the results or if you're asking about the process itself. I guess it shouldn't matter to me. I should just ask your guides. I heard slow down at first. I am getting the message, though, that it's okay to like not do it all the time every day. From what I've learned about magical stuff is that sometimes if you overdo it, it has less of an effect. Love is the answer. Yes, but it can be a small mentor, whatever that's supposed to mean. Like, it doesn't have to be somebody huge that you pay for. What message do my guides want to send me now? Like, they just like showed me this big smile. They want you to smile, silly rabbit. I think I can feel all of your guys' exhaustion, and it's like making me like even more tired. Because I'm not very tired, but like I can feel this group energy of just like, ugh. I'll copy Crystal. What do I need to know right now? I just got that your family was safe and protected. I'm not going fast enough. I'm sorry, guys. If I skip over you, just ask it again. Can you tell me what spirits are in my house? Amanda, I'm feeling like an older man, grandfather energy attached to the physical house. What should I be doing right now? I saw like Lori like Netflix and chilling, like not in that sense. More just like sitting on the couch, taking a break, like not signing up for anything. You can be stingy, Michelle. That's the whole point of the speed reading. So whenever speed reading night comes along, everyone's like, yeah. Quick message from my dad. I didn't even read the say hi, and I saw him saying hi, so I think he was responding back. I didn't even read it. But again, ask me again. And I should say also, you guys, with the speed readings, know that because I'm going so fast that I could definitely be wrong. I could definitely be connecting wrong. So use your own judgment. So love is the answer. If you were really feeling that, go for it. Bones, is there any SPO? Maybe. Will I ride horses again? Yes, but the location is the problem. Oh, is there a spirit attached to me? There's one that's following you around, but it's because you're constantly thinking about him. You can decide that they're no longer attached, though. Bones, I've got a whole video on how spirits attach to people, so maybe check that one out. I think so, yes, Jordan, to your next question. I Netflix all the time. Lori, the other big thing that I was getting was like, don't sign up for like any more family events. Like the family holiday stuff, try to keep it small. On how to work with my new boss. It's been a struggle. The first message that's coming through Silly Rabbit is like, that's just the way he is, unfortunately. Any message from Spirit regarding today? Yurika, I'm getting that you can do it like again, and that something about your age, like you worry that it was your age or you're too young, and that has like nothing to do with it. Or maybe everything to do with it. Ask me again. I'm like not doing it fast enough. Okay, faster, Lauren, faster. My strongest gift, clairsentient. Sorry, I meant spirits attached to me. Oh. Woohoo. Well, love is the answer. Hopefully you can get lots of good information from my YouTube channel for free. My best friend. Ooh. Possibly Crystal. I feel like her other might be blocking the energy of that. It all kind of depends on if they can come together and manifest it together. What psychic ability should I practice? Jana, I saw you either doing automatic writing or shamanic journeying. I think both of those are more clairvoyant. Ooh, awesome, Jordan. I'm going through tarot myself as well. What I'm seeing for you, Jordan, is like find structure. Like make sure whatever you're learning has structure to it, like an outline. It's not just like vague, hokey pokey, whateverness. Like find somebody that's gonna like lay it out and be very like analytical about it. What what hobby should I explore? Ooh, Silly Rabbit, I immediately saw you like hiking, rock climbing possibly. If you don't like it, Amanda, you could always change it. I talk about that in my Claire videos. Any message? Definitely pursue that, Yurika. I feel like you kind of need to get out of where you're at. Hey GD, we're doing speed readings, which is not typical, but you can throw up your question and ask. And if you guys want longer readings, you can always send a donation. Crystal, what's your strongest? I just saw clairvoyance again. What family member is the most proud of me? Jana, I saw your dad, even though that he might not express it in the best way. GD, I saw like roller coaster ups and downs. Will my hubby get a better job, more money, and be happier? Better job. My energy is like, if he thinks he's capable, I feel like he's blocking that. He thinks he's not deserving for some reason. Happier. I think he's pretty darn happy. I think he equates success a little too much with his happiness. He needs to separate those two. Any spirits around me? Yes. He's grumpy. Any spirits around me? I saw love is the answer. Like I saw a lot of like woodland creatures, a lot of animals. I also saw a goddess, but then she like very quickly disappeared. Yurika, I'm going to wait till after December. I don't know why. Like it started the new year. If I start a second job, what should it be? I was feeling like, oh no, Crystal, I should have told you. I'm canceling that member. I said it at the top, but I'm canceling that membership level for 3 months. Dang it! I wonder if it'll reimburse you. Because our next member only live is also going to be our last one. So it should actually reimburse you. If not, Crystal, let me know. And we'll try to figure it out. Sorry. I've said it in the last couple lives, but my memberships I'm sort of phasing out because I don't have enough people in them to make it make sense. But join us next week for our member only live. Thank you. I so appreciate that. I'll talk to you about it and kind of more about it next week. But Silly Rabbit, I was seeing second job around kids. Yeah, no worries, Crystal. I that's the hard part is like I need to give people enough time to finish out their membership, but then hopefully people don't sign up. Yes, goddess. Love is the answer. I feel like it's a very like pagan or Wiccan goddess, and I don't therefore know the name. You're welcome, Yurika. But Crystal. Anyway, Crystal, I'll at least give you an equivalent for your membership. Because if that's 3 months, that would have been like $15. So I'm gonna pause really quick and give Crystal a more solid reading, and then I'll jump back to speed readings. Crystal, I didn't even know you could sign up that far in advance. What is this about for Crystal? Gosh, this is just like the message of tonight. Everyone is kind of going through this like regeneration process. Like we're all coming from the ashes and trying to grow something new. And Crystal, I feel like this is where you're at as well. And I feel like you're trying to do everything by the book too much. I feel like you're looking at your spiritual experience. I feel like this might also be like with relationships, but you're trying to do everything like, again, by the book. You're doing it because somebody told you to do it that way. And maybe it could even be bad habits of like, oh, well, I don't talk to my spouse because that's weird, or I don't go to therapy because that's weird, or my spiritual, side of myself is I bypass the things that make me uncomfortable, or I'm into like what I think of as like the toxic positivity. And it's almost like you're going through the motions and you're doing the things that you're supposed to be doing, but not actually stopping to see if like you should be doing them. And this is all about just like receiving those messages, letting it come to you, letting the answers come to you, and not trying to force it or just play it by the book or do what everyone else is like saying that you should do. Like, to me, this is stop paying attention to what everyone else says and go within to your own intuition and see what you feel like the answer should be. Thanks, Amanda. Hang on, I'm going back up to Crystal just so I can connect with her energy. And then I pulled the soulmates card too, so I feel like this was just telling me that this is also affecting your relationships. I just feel like you're kind of going through the motions, and when something is kind of brought up, it's maybe like, oh, I'm not really addressing it. I pulled the card, your dreams need a practical plan. This energy to me feels like you're doing what you think you should be doing, but it's not really panning out, and because of that, you're kind of inhibiting your progress, and it's kind of affecting your relationships. And I'm gonna ask, like, how can we get out of this? And this is literally saying, like, follow the trail of breadcrumbs that your guides leave you. Because I feel like they're trying to lead you in really interesting ways, but you're just kind of like, oh, well, that doesn't make sense, so I'm not going to follow that. And I think it's very much mindset related. I feel like with a lot of this, you feel like, oh, well, I don't understand how it could get better, or, what it should look like. And because of that, you might be blocking yourself a little bit from letting things come in. And this card, Imagine, is basically saying, like, raise your expectations, like set some goals, identify where you want to be, and kind of dream big. That's what this Imagine card is. I'm just getting all these cards of like, you're wanting peace, you're wanting a change, you're wanting to move forward and do new things, but everything is like blocking you. I'm just going to ask for Crystal, what the heck is blocking you? It's your intention. It's coming back to like, what do you want? And where is your compass pointed? And sometimes if we don't know what we want, it's very confusing, and there is no goal. We don't have a goal. And then the universe is like, well, we don't know what to do. We don't know how to help. Let me pop down. Sorry, guys. I will jump back to speed reading in a second. I'm just giving Crystal a reading just in case her thing doesn't reimburse. Wow. Fine. There we go. Okay, and then I'll get to Amanda. Yes, I need to set goals. I just journaled about that. I'm like missing all the comments. I apologize. I have no idea what you guys are talking about, but you're welcome, Janet. Making a choice, Crystal. Just make a choice. And I think the affirmation that's coming up for you, Crystal, for me is it's a great one. I love it. It's show me the way. It's like, show me the next step. So you can still set the intention of like, I want a better relationship, or I want to develop more spiritually and connect with myself more. And that can be your compass. Like you don't have to know what it looks like. You just can say, I want clarity on X. That can be an intention right there. I want clarity on X. And then if you're just constantly repeating that to yourself, but also paying attention to the signs, then that's, what we talk about when we talk about, what's your intention. Wow, I keep banging my desk and making it bouncy. I apologize. What else? I just wanted to ask one more thing for Crystal. And I asked, what's the best way that you can kind of come out of this right now? I feel like, Crystal, there's like a lot of layers to this, which is so hard, but I feel like each of these cards is like talking about something different. And I feel like I went through all of these lessons like this year with myself. And I said, okay, what's the one thing she can do to start? And I pulled the bless card, and it's about being thankful, being appreciative, and having gratitude for what is working. Because when you constantly are in a state of like, this isn't working, my life sucks, this sucks, then you are kind of attracting more of that lack. And because of that, you're having a hard time like seeing how things can change, how things can get better. You're not exactly sure of like where to put your intentions or your goals because life just feels so meh right now. And when you feel so meh about life and you're not really sure where you want to go, it's a lot harder to like set those intentions. But yeah. But welcome anyway, Crystal. You can join us for our member only live next week, and it'll be our last one, but it'll still be a fun night, and we'll go from there. All right. Amanda, anything about my spiritual path? I'm loving it. I've done a lot since our bundled readings. Oh, cool. I didn't realize it was the same Amanda. I was assuming your last name was different. I've talked to you more than my mother in those sessions. Yes, and thank you. Amanda did a bundled coaching session with me, and that was a lot of fun, and we both learned a lot. I loved it. Awesome. So I just kind of asked what you need to know. And I think your guides are definitely encouraging you that you're doing a really good job of staying in the moment and not worrying about like where you should be or like where you've come or, like I see this in regards to your spiritual path. This is then and now. It's really about being present. This is sort of saying, okay, I'm not being distracted by all the blocks or all the things that might have gone wrong in the past. And I'm not necessarily bothered about like where I should be or where I should be headed on my spiritual path. You're being very present. And I'm hearing that you're just taking things very slowly. And sometimes that's okay. Like a lot of people feel like they have to rush, their spiritual process. And I feel like that actually makes it a lot worse. Like it's okay if it feels like it's moving slowly. The important thing is that you're present. And I think that they're just trying to give you confirmation of like how you got here so that if you want to come back, or if you're having a harder time getting connected to it, you're kind of like, oh, okay, this is how I got there. This is what made me feel so good about it. And it's because you have a very clear intention. Your intention behind it is, what am I wanting to do with this? Like, why am I wanting to explore these abilities or my spirituality? And I think you're very clear on that goal. And because of it, it's very easy with both. You have your intention and you're very present. So it's just working out well. It's almost like the exact opposite of Crystal's reading. Like, no offense, Crystal, but it's like you're very clear on what you want, and then you're paying attention to the signs. And because of it, it's a lot easier to see how it unfolds. And my biggest thing that I keep hearing is like, don't rush it, don't rush it, don't rush it. especially this card, all that glitters. All that glitters isn't gold is kind of the message of this, like, don't chase after the shiny objects. And I think you're doing a really good job of that, because within the spiritual community, there's sometimes this pressure to, like, oh, I'm constantly evolving, I'm constantly leveling up, I'm a better version of myself, I'm better than everyone else. I'm like, I've worked with all my shadow parts and now I'm like perfectly clean. Or maybe it could just be like getting attached to all the like teachers or the products to buy. And a lot of people get distracted by that and they don't actually like do the inner work. And I feel like you have this really good balance of this. And again, I feel like this is mostly confirmation, so that if you're feeling like, oh, I'm kind of falling off this path a little bit, how did I get here? And you can kind of remember this. The only obstacle that I'm kind of getting for you, Amanda, I pulled the tribe in reverse, and these are like the people that surround you, the people that, you know, you talk to about this kind of stuff. Like, are you around people that are supportive of this? You know, this could be immediate family, which we've talked about before, or it could be, you know, friends, the community that you're involved in. And so maybe if you're feeling like it could be better, you know, maybe seek out a community. Sometimes I feel like online just doesn't work as well as it can. And I do feel like sometimes being in person with other people can be super helpful. Not all the time. Sometimes it's different, but yes. Let's see. I switched to emails. Okay, now I'm reading this, Amanda. I just started reading the Magic book 3 days ago. Oh, yeah, that's kind of like the alternative to the other one, the manifestation book that I can't remember. Not manifestation, the Secret, right? Isn't that the same like author? Every time you called, my son was pooping. Yes, poor Amanda was like, her son kept interrupting and being like, Mom. It was too funny. And the last card that I pulled for you, Amanda, surrender to the sweetness. That's so perfect as an overall. Venus energy, pleasure, joy, make love to life. And I think we often forget that sometimes we feel like we have to go do this spiritual work and like, I don't know, go off and enlighten ourselves, and we have to put life on pause. But I actually think that remembering to enjoy life and work with, you know, the struggles in life, I feel like sometimes if you integrate both of those, it makes everything a lot easier. And so just understand that this sweetness, this synergy that you've got going on is absolutely awesome. And just kind of keep it in your back pocket for when things don't feel so awesome, if that makes sense. Ooh, empathic starseed. I pulled this in reverse, Amanda. To me, this is saying you're actually getting an even better handle on your boundaries. Before, you might have been a little too empathic and like picking up on too much stuff, or maybe just being like too open and boundaryless with your own stuff. And I think because you're putting up a firmer block, it's kind of like you just got all of these good concoctions going on, and it's just kind of making for the perfect energy right now. Because I think you have a very clear boundary of like, no, this isn't my energy. I'm not going to entertain this. And because of that, you're feeling in that zone a lot better. Okay, anything else for Amanda? No adjustments are required. Love it. Love it. Those are the readings I like, when it's like you're doing everything perfectly. I feel like I don't get those enough. Alrighty. Thanks, Amanda. Thanks for the donation. Authors Rhonda Byrne. Okay, let's go back to speed readings for a little bit longer. Oh, of course. Okay. Speed readings. Jumping back into it. Again, you guys can still donate. We still have our member timer that's going to go off pretty soon. Can you tell me if next year... I will get promoted. I'm hearing yes, but Nancy, there's a but to that. But the people that are making the decisions are not convinced. Like there needs to be some more convincing done. Will I get the apartment applied for? Ugh, I'm getting a no, Irhan. Maybe put your eggs in a couple more baskets so you're not just relying on that one. What do I need to know about moving house next year? I'm seeing like something else needs to happen first. I'm hearing scouting. Maybe you actually need to like go to the places that you want to move a little bit. Kind of scout around, see if anything like feels right or wrong. Who's with me right now? I'm seeing like a female guide, Lori, that's like really large, part animal behind you, but then I was also seeing maybe like a grandfather. Oh, and of course, my member thing went off. Do I count it as Lori? I think I might have to. All right, so Lori, as always, I feel like Lori always gets these. So Lori, I'll do a little bit longer of a reading for you. Let me know what your question is. I'll just keep doing these speed readings until we get Lori's question. So yeah, if you are a member, you get a random chance at winning a reading on my live nights. I just set a timer. Ooh, will I buy a car next year? Ooh, I really feel like you have to like save up and penny pinch, Jana, if you want to do that. That's just what I'm getting. Don't let that become like a self-fulfilling prophecy. What can I do to let them know? I'm feeling like Nancy, like really hold back. Like don't get anyone in anyone's face. Like keep out of the conflict. Will I ever buy a house in Korea? I just heard if you want to. I think there's confusion on if that's where you want to be or not. I think once you make that decision a little bit more, and if you're like, well, I already have, maybe there's some not clarity there. All right, Lori, really quick, I'm gonna give Lori a general reading and then we'll jump back into speed readings. Sorry, guys. Lori. Goodness, group energy tonight. We all need to go to bed early. That's like what I'm feeling. And like, I know tomorrow's only Wednesday, but like, I feel like we should start the weekend tomorrow. Like, that's the energy that I'm getting for everybody. Like, everyone just needs a break. And it's so weird because I know it's not me, but I can feel it so much. And I'm so familiar with it that I feel like it is me. But I keep having to be like, no. I think I'm a little too empathetic tonight. Got the clairsentience a little bit on. Maybe I should tell no more clairsentience. I don't want that tonight. I don't need to feel tired. All right, Lori, a leg up. The fates. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. What is this about? That's what it's about. I'm like reading it. It fell across the room. So I pulled Loyal Heart. Yeah. So this could be about a relationship. It could even be a relationship with yourself. Let me just start reading and we'll see what it's about. I feel like this is like exactly what we read for you last time. Like with your, like I vaguely remember reading like your daughter or something. Is this about her? Yes and no is what I'm hearing. The yawning is not coming from me. Yeah, I think that's just the group tonight. Hang on. These are also kind of like similar that I'm trying to just get like a little bit more context. Here, I'll pull these cards. Yeah, I think I'm struggling because I don't like to remember readings because I worry that people will think I'm like remembering you guys and like, using that as like a way to, make up things that aren't true, if that makes sense. But I do feel like this is all about your daughter again. And I've read Lauryn enough to remember that. Because I feel like she's refusing to ask for help. I feel like this card, leg up, is like she needs the help. She's kind of like refusing it. I think she's having a hard time seeing all the good things in her life right now. Because I also pulled Treasure Island in reverse, and this is like all your needs and wants being met. That's not fair. She's hijacking my reading from the other room. I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't be reading her. But it feels like with this, like the timing is all happening as it should be. Oh, now I feel weird if she's listening. That's why you're not supposed to read other people, but I do it anyway sometimes. Clean it up. I just feel like the timing of this is happening for a reason. And there's like, I'm confused because there's this back and forth energy of like, be bold and make the first move, like offer help. You guys should be helping each other, talking to each other. But at the same time, I don't feel like it will always help in certain situations. It's about understanding like her independence, your independence, and knowing that, mom can't help you all the time, and that's okay. But why did I pull that's happening for a reason? That's the one. I think what this is kind of going to, especially with this loyal heart and this like balance being struck, it's like there's this balance of mom offering help too much sometimes or not enough, but then also like for your daughter knowing, hey, when should I, ask for help, and when am I doing it to the exclusion of effort? When do I need to actually be handling this on my own and not just wanting someone else to solve the problem for me? And I kind of feel like the message is that she needs to more lean into her own independence and kind of clean it up herself and handle the situation herself. And I think this is kind of a message of you being there in support, but at the end of the day, like you can't always help her through everything. And it's very important that she learns this on her own. And this being just like, I feel like it's the struggles of what's going on in her life. Not saying like her life is like super strugglesome, but I pulled the time to go card, and this is kind of like her energy of knowing, when should I ask for help and when can I handle it kind of on my own, which sometimes freaks us out as parents because we're like, oh my gosh, are they making the right decision? But we kind of have to let them do it and trust that they're doing it. But at the same time, Lori, for you, it's about still understanding that there are times where she's going to need help, and it's okay to step in and offer that. But I feel like this is her leaning more into her independence. And as long as you're coming from the heart and have the good intention of, I'm doing this from a place of love, not of a place of like control, I think it's actually going to make your bond a lot stronger. I love this card as like a visual. It's like these two owls sitting in this like heart-shaped heart egg. And I feel like the reason why it's happening, this whole like fates card that I pulled, is very much saying like this is here to both kind of pull you guys apart so that you can grow stronger. But then once you come back together, it will actually make you have a stronger relationship. I hope that makes sense. Her energy is hard to ignore. Awesome. All right, guys, we are going to keep doing speed readings for a little bit, and then we will wrap up the evening. True Gemini's like, I'm ready. It's a move from Michigan to Alaska. Oh, I don't think so, True Gemini. I feel like it seems really awesome, but I feel like you would be so lonely. Like, I feel like you would miss things that you're not realizing now, but then once you move and get there, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I have no like friends. I feel like the friend situation are just like, even the comforts of home, of being able to go out and just like go to a movie, go to the mall, the things that we kind of take for granted. I feel like that's not there. I just like saw you doing some like serious stretching, silly rabbit, like yoga stretching. Like I literally saw you like bending over backwards, which makes sense, I guess. Stretching would absolutely help with some of that. I don't feel like it needs to be like rigorous exercise though. How do your in-laws feel about you? It's kind of like a meh, Jana. In like the most loving way. Like I'm getting like, if you were to suddenly disappear, they would appreciate you a little bit more. But they also don't dish out kindness, or not kindness as much as approval, to very many people to begin with. Ooh, interesting, Nancy. The question that they're putting in my head, and this is rhetorical, Nancy, is like, do you know the content? Do you know what you're talking about? Because maybe that's why you get stuck. Is my younger sister going to have a good time at Thanksgiving with parents? This is weird, Michael, but I'm totally hearing give her a little liquor and she will. If she can have that. Will I ever work abroad? I think yes, Mo, if you save up. Like I definitely get this need to like save up some money. Hey, Terlin. Jordan. Okay, Jordan, I tend to have a lot of negative thoughts. Don't want to reveal on what they are, but what is your advice on this? I will say, if you're following me on Instagram, I recently put up a little like story highlight thing. Like you can see it kind of right under my name. And I have a little bubble that says resources. And in that resources kind of like story scroll through, I have this website that I kind of had to type out. But there's a website... And it's literally like every single sort of like mental health help that you could possibly need is on that website. And it kind of just links you to all sorts of free resources. So resources. And it's, oh, damn it. Psycom.net/get help mental health. And Twilight thing, my like, this is what it looks like if you want to find that. I'll say that just as like a non-psychic thing because that is a great resource, because sometimes readings can't really help and you really need to seek out some extra help. So that resource is there, Jordan. If you need it, that resource is there for anybody. It's just a website of like free hotlines and different things, different resources. Like I think there's like suicide hotlines, but there's also like how do you find a therapist, all this good stuff if you don't know where to start. And then they were telling me about a book. A lot of negative thoughts. What book? Okay, well, that's helpful. They're like, you've never read it before. Okay, well, it's good to know there's a book out there. Maybe you've been thinking about reading a book, possibly. Jordan, I wonder if some of your thoughts are not so much negative, but anxiety thoughts, like what are they called? there's like a term that people use when you have a lot of anxiety and they come across as like anxious thoughts that aren't true. Oh, it's like all over TikTok. What is it called? Does anybody know? Intrusive thoughts. Thank you, Sherilyn. It almost feels like that. And maybe you didn't know what it was and you're like, yes, thank you. And I almost wonder, like the energy that I'm getting is like sometimes it's those intrusive thoughts and you're reading way too much into them because you're very intuitive and you're trying to find meaning in everything. But sometimes those intrusive thoughts can actually just be your anxiety. I kind of actually feel that's what's going on. I think there must be a book about it somewhere. But as far as my advice, I mean, depending on the level of which you feel comfortable, I would really see if, under your health insurance plan, or there's even some counselors out there that are specifically like, they help low-income people, and it's like a donation-only counselor if you can prove that you don't make a lot of money. That's kind of where I'm leaning towards. Because I feel like right now, Jordan, you're not connected to that higher power, that source. And I think that is what is throwing you off so much. And they're kind of like your go-to. And when you feel like you're not connected with them, you're just like, you have no foundation. And I think it's almost happening for a reason of like, you need to find a foundation within yourself. So I'm just getting like breathe and peace cards. To me, this could also just be go back to the simple act of meditating and not trying to do anything crazy. Just go back to the bare bones. But honestly, the things I'm leaning more towards for you, Jordan, are like mental health help stuff. And what resources I do have, I kind of share on my Instagram. Maybe even the book, How to Do the Work. I don't feel like that's quite for you though. But I would see if start with that link, because I feel like a therapist or like a professional actually needs to step in, because I feel like this is going beyond spiritual stuff. Like, your spiritual stuff, your intuition, how to connect to that. But this is like day-to-day depression and anxiety, which cannot always just be handled with, your psychic ability. You can't just throw that at everything and make it better, if that makes sense. That is 100% accurate. Let me just make sure. I don't think Jordan said anything else, but thank you for the donation, Jordan. Back to speed readings again. What kind of work with children should I do for a second job? I don't know. Like, I'm getting to explore, like, is there somebody around you that already works with kids? Like, it's more that you kind of need to go down the rabbit hole of like, hey, what do you do? And, oh, maybe I should look up this. Oh, maybe that doesn't make as much money. Maybe I'll kind of jump around. And like, I feel like you just need to get an understanding of all the things that are out there first. I want my books. That's awesome. Nancy, you have to send one to me if you finish it. Jana, what I'm getting for your bow business is like it's another rhetorical question that's coming in, but it's like, do people know that you exist? Like, do you have a front facing, this is what I do, this is how much it is, this is where you buy it? Because I feel like that's missing, like at the most basic level. And maybe you feel like it is, but that could just be a call to just make it a lot more clearer. You're welcome, Lori. Hopefully your daughter's not just like, my mom's always reading me. Oh, thank you, Silly Rabbit. I should defer to her. She's a psychologist. cognitive behavior. Oh, you guys are so awesome, giving so many resources. Thank you. Look at all these therapists on here. I should just let you guys take control. I know the psychic stuff, but I'm learning. I'm trying to integrate therapy a little bit more into my practices so I can at least refer you guys to the right people. But yeah. Change your brain, change your life. I've also heard about that one. Thank you, Terralyn. I might actually write some of these down just so I can refer people. Maybe that's why my guys were like, there's a book, but you haven't read it. Maybe it was because you guys needed to refer yours. I appreciate you guys. All right. Sorry, guys. Let me jump to Terralyn. Terralyn also donated. Ooh, any messages from Charlie for me? Oh, Charlie is the breath of fresh air I need tonight. Gosh, he's like shifting me out of the energy of this group. He's kind of like, not to like hate on you guys, but we're all tired, I can tell. He's just like a breath of fresh air. He's like showing me this picture of you, Terralyn, of you like reading in the springtime, like with a book. I feel like it's like a Pride and Prejudice book. He's like, yeah, cuddle up, get in your meadow, get this book. Like, he really wants you to connect with, there's something about like creativity being sparked and like getting new ideas from kind of giving yourself those self-care moments of like, maybe it's just that you really enjoy being outdoors. Maybe, you know, when you read books, you kind of disconnect a little bit from life and you can come up with some really creative ideas. Gosh, and now he's leading me down this like rabbit hole of like, Terralyn, you don't have to work with like other people, like, or you don't have to work in the job that you're working in. You can create your own thing and like sell things from it. Like he's trying to give you like these inspiration, these little kind of like seeds. He's wanting to plant these like idea seeds of like a business that you could start on the side, like completely in relation to what you do now. But it's almost like instead of showing up at someone else's workplace and like putting in the time and the hours and yada yada, it's like, oh, how could I, you know, it's almost like what I do is what it feels like put myself in a video or, you know, make a PDF and package it up and sell it. He's very much wanting you to connect to just like kind of your creative energy so that you can come up with these ideas. And I feel like right now you just kind of, you really only see work in like one way, and he's trying to get you to think outside the box. And there's something about you kind of indulging in those self-care activities. Like, again, I'm seeing, I don't know why so specifically, like, what is that genre called? Like the Pride and Prejudice style books. It's like they're romance history novels that are set in the past, and it's like doing it in a space where you feel like connected and warm and cozy. It's almost like it's less about the book and more about getting in a zone where you're inspired so that you can create something. Like he's just wanting to push this creativity, and I feel like next year is like really the year to bring it about. Yeah, and I'm just having him talk to me through the cards if there's anything else. It's definitely like, don't push too hard on it now. It's more about letting the ideas come, getting excited about it. On some level, you probably have had some seeds of thought here and there, and he's fully giving you permission on doing this. Like, he's so selfless. He doesn't care about talking about himself. He's just like, how can we help Terralyn? And I think you're meant to do this. The fates, I feel like you were fated to do something like this. And, you know, maybe it just needed to grow on the side first. But I think once you kind of get the seeds, the ideas, you know, you spend a lot of time thinking about it, then it's just like you're going to go full force and you're going to be like, I'm going to turn this into something. I'm going to make it into something. I really feel like you could just, like, I keep hearing package, like packaging something into something else that you could sell. I mean, and it could even be at the simplest level, like a book. But it's something that's really going to require you to be brave and step outside of the box. This is coming to the edge where you feel like, oh my gosh, this is scary. This is new for me. I don't feel authorized. I don't feel like I'm allowed to do this. But he's just like saying, he's pulling out like a fake card. He's like, look, I'm on the other side. I have the card that says I know everything, which is like a total joke. But he's like, because I'm on the other side and I say so, you have to now trust yourself. That's like his energy. He's so funny. I really like him. Ooh. Thank you, Michael. That's great. I'm not on Twitter, so it's good to know. Hater Lauryn. Okay, jumping back into speed readings. Thank you, Tara Lynn. I do a lot. Historical fiction. That's so funny. Maybe he's also like really there with you in those moments, but I think there's something about that. And I mean, I don't know how long ago you jumped in, Tara Lynn, but I was literally talking in the beginning of the stream about how like I need self-care time that's reading fiction at the end of the night, and I just have to give myself that time. And it's because I get myself into an imaginative state, and it helps me kind of disconnect from what happened during the day. And then it kind of bleeds into my dreams. And then my dreams are very like a lot more vivid and helpful because I'm not going into bed stressed, if that makes sense. You're welcome, Jordan. I hope you feel better. And definitely write down some of these things. People are giving you some awesome resources here. If any of them resonate with you. Make gift baskets. That's so funny. Woohoo! Thank you, Tara Lynn. All right, let's do speed readings for maybe like another 10 minutes, and then we'll wrap it up. Let's see. Do any spirits watch over me? Michaela. Michaela, you definitely have ancestors in spirit, probably like some immediate family members. I'm seeing somebody like that you have a picture of, maybe like a family member that like I'm seeing an ofrenda, but it could just be that that's a symbol, but like, on an ofrenda, you put a picture of your loved one and you celebrate them and you kind of remember them and put it up in their honor. It's like somebody that you do that. Maybe don't do that literally for them, but it could just be kind of in your mind or figuratively, you have that same energy towards it. That person is definitely watching over you. I feel like she's very stern. Mm-hmm. What does my twin flame want to communicate with me? He's struggling to reach out. I'm literally hearing like, I don't want to reach out. I don't want to talk. He's going through his own junk, and he's just like, he's putting up a block between everybody right now. Any advice regarding joining a new gym? Ooh, I was like immediately seeing money for you, Yurika, of like, maybe there's like the money stress of like, gosh, gyms can be so dang expensive. I looked into it one time. I was like, are you kidding me? I mean, and if you work in a gym atmosphere, awesome, go for it. But I was seeing like a meetup group or something where, people that go run in the park, like totally free. They're like, hey, let's get together and let's go do exercises in the park. Maybe, I don't know if meetup is very prominent in Japan, but something of that equivalent so that you're not spending like a ton of money. I would try to look up like Facebook groups in the area. I actually feel like you'd meet some really cool people if you did that too. Will I ever have a best friend again? Oh, that one hit me in my soul, Jenna. I feel that one too. I'm immediately getting that it's hard because people are not at the same level as you. And Jana, I'm seeing that the only way it can really happen is if you put yourself out there, because there's so few people that resonate with your frequency that it's almost like you have to actively go out and search for those types of people. Like I'm very specifically seeing like, those like summits, those like summits of like, it could be like woo-woo stuff. And they have like these big summits that you have to pay like a lot of money to go to. Like those are the type of people that I feel like you should be getting along with. And then the types of people that is around you is just like not even of that caliber. And when I say that, I mean like spiritually. I just feel like the pool is so small and you have to actively go out and find those types of people. I miss working out. Does my grandmother come through? I think that was who was coming through, Michaela. Because like the ofrenda thing, I think of as being like very like familial. Yeah, I'd be curious to see if Meetup even works over there. Oh, you do? Oh, you just said that. Okay. Yeah, because I mean, gyms are dumb, and I feel like I don't know. You might have to like try a few out, but I feel like you might have more luck and it might not be as expensive. I'll be your friend. Oh, Jana, I feel ya. That was like literally the start of my Saturn return, was losing my last really good friend. I actually reached out to Yurika for a reading because I was just so in the thick of it. And I was just like, what do I do? But that's like the energy that I totally feel. And you guys know too that if you want to join up and meet with the rest of the people in the chat, I do have a Facebook group where a lot of people like connect and you can get the feels there and see if people are interested in being friends. What other intuitive tools do my guides want me to learn about? I just saw tarot, silly rabbit. I feel like I told you that before. Why is that relevant? Because you like gave up and maybe didn't try as hard as you should have. Maybe. Nancy, I would like to know who my spirit guide is. Oh, Nancy, I just saw this like woman made out of like water. She's like silvery white and she was just like made of water. Like she's like flowing of water. I have no idea who that is. It could be symbolic. Maybe there's a guide out there that does actually look like that. I would ask I should say water to me means emotions. Hang on, sorry. There's loud noises going on outside. Or maybe she could be very connected to that water element. I'm already using playing cards. No, like tarot cards. Silly rabbit. Tarot. I'm not even done with my tarot course yet, and I already want to make my own tarot course. I'm enjoying learning so much. Who's my main spirit guide? I immediately heard dad. And I'm going to stand by that. Even if your dad is not passed, your father is very much integrated with you spiritually. Like maybe he's lived a few lives with you. How does Andrew feel about me? She lives in Colorado. Oh, is Andrew a girl? I feel like Andrew wants to get to know you more, but is kind of like has been hurt by so many people that they just don't want to let anybody in. They're kind of like, giving up kind of attitude when it comes to like relationships, friendships. We're asking about all of the friends right now. What does he think about you? there's like a little bit of jealousy there, but also a little bit of respect for like what you do. I feel like he like judges you on your outward appearance. Don't let that get to you. I'm just saying what I get. Would he choose his relationship over friendship? I'm not sure what you mean by that, but I'm just hearing no. Yes, she is. Oh, gotcha. I feel like she's just Jana, I feel like she's just kind of like, I don't want to deal with it. All right, I'm going to do like 2 more minutes of speed reading. So really quick, get the rest of your questions in. If you have any. I should have poured myself some more water. I'm somebody who needs like a cup of water this big several times a day. I need so much water. She's like a mother figure that's always been there. Oh, that's so awesome. My daughter, 18 years, and he messaged her. Oh, Nancy, like the biggest thing I'm getting is like she needs to stop caring about what other people think of her, which is like, you can only say that so much to a teenager, but I feel like that's what she's into everybody, especially the social media. Ugh, she's on social media like way too much. And I think that gets to her, and she doesn't necessarily know how to shut it off. So like maybe if she ever like complains about it or brings it up, you can be like, oh, there's apps that help you like turn it off, or when I'm not on the internet all the time, this is the awesome things that happen to me. She just lets the things on the internet get to her way too much. She's been through a lot. Yeah, Jenna, I feel like her energy is kind of like she's very choosy about the people she lets in, and she's not going to be the one to initiate it. She's kind of like almost made this rule of like, if somebody wants to be friends with me, they've got to initiate it. A message. This is weird, silly rabbit, but I just heard you're a unicorn. What should I do about my marriage? I knew this was going to come up tonight. If it's relevant, it might not be, Jana, but I recently stumbled on this woman. She's called the Anxious Love Coach. I think I first saw her on TikTok, and then I saw her on Instagram. But she has just I've been binging her podcast, and she has been giving me so many amazing like relationship tips. Maybe that's not for you, Jana, but I do feel like that's for a few people. I just like cannot speak highly enough about her podcast. And maybe that's just because like I'm in a zone where I really, really need it right now. But that's like the first thing that I got for you as far as what should I do about your marriage. The only other thing that I'm getting is to just like, I saw you did like taking a deep breath, taking it day by day, taking baby steps. Like it's like the energy of not giving up, but not just like setting things on fire, if that makes sense. Rabbit, is that you? Oh, unicorn. Awesome. Thank you, Elsa. I guess my question is about career. What career path do my guides recommend for my high school? Ooh. I'm going to pull the starseed for you, Elsa. Ooh, that one. And this one. I don't know who that was from. I asked for a message from family, and I just got the message. I'm not really sure who it was from. You're welcome, Elsa. I know you're asking what it is, but they're giving me answers on how to find it. Because right now, Elsa, you're just going through a period in life. Like I'm hearing survival mode, especially because I pulled this card that says you'll survive this, new solutions and beginnings Recently you've kind of been lost in regards to this, and you're supposed to kind of go on this journey of not knowing so that you could come out on this other side and find, what you're supposed to do. I did pull the messenger card. Focus. The messenger card I'm getting, I wonder if that's any sort of area where you are a messenger. And I do, because I pulled the Starseed Oracle, I wonder if that's, taking a message from a higher source, from up above. It might not be literally like, you're a psychic, like me, but you're channeling something. You are taking a message from one spot and delivering it to another. Like, to me, that could be that you're helping others. You could be a counselor, a therapist. I'm even getting like maybe a social worker. But you bring harmony and balance. And then all the other cards I pulled were not about what it is. I really should have. This question would go better with one of the other decks that I have, but like, it's literally saying that the timing is perfect. You're about ready to discover what this is. Just breathe and relax and let it come to you. Pay attention to the signs. Maybe the affirmation you could use, Elsa, is I want to find what I should do for my career. Guides, show me the way. Show me the way, but then make sure you're actually paying attention, because I feel like you're being a little bit inflexible. Like, you're trying to be like, oh, well, it needs to pay me this, and it needs to fit in with this, and it needs to fit in with that. And I feel like when you kind of put all these rules on it, you're making it a lot harder for it to manifest, because you're constantly being like, oh, well, that can't be it. Oh, that can't be it. But you'd be surprised at how uniquely, this might come about for you. I still want to ask. I'm going to pull one more card. The messenger card. I feel like it's definitely working with other people, because I pulled unexpected visitors. And to me, this is kind of like working with strangers, working with people that you haven't met before. And again, with this stuff, like, if it doesn't resonate, maybe it just helps you further decide that's not what you want to do. But let me kind of intuitively ask. I want to lean towards like nursing or like helping people, but more on the health side of things. I think why it's kind of so vague right now is because it's more about helping people, and you can do that in any career. But the thing about it is that, like, you could get into any career and lose the motivation to help others. Like, you could even be a psychic and lose that motivation to help others. And your motivation could be, oh, I need to make money. I need to pay the bills. And you can lose the motivation, and therefore it affects how you feel about the job. But I feel like wherever you go, it doesn't quite matter, because it's more about the fact that you're connecting, you're communicating with other people. Communications, definitely. And I want to lean towards you like being like a public speaker in some way, but I think you're too introverted for that. I think that would make you too nervous. But I feel like that's like the seeds of where they want you to start. And I think it's going to unfold. I just don't know yourself well enough to know where you're going to fit. So it's a lot more unclear right now, but it'll get clearer as it goes. And I hate referencing this video because it's so old, but I had made a video ages and ages ago. And I think it's called How to Find Your Dream Job. And I don't think the title is correct. You're not going to find your dream job by the end, but I do think I give several really good tips on how to figure it out. And I feel like you're such a beginner in it and understanding where you should be, that maybe you should check that out. Because I talk about like, well, are you introverted? Are you extroverted? And I give a lot of examples. So maybe start there, Elsa, if you feel called to watch that. It is old. I've been watching some of my old videos to make some of my new videos, the ones that I want to update, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I should just take these down. But if you take them down, then you lose all the viewership, and it really hurts your analytics. And gosh, they're embarrassing. I agree. Unicorn AF. You're welcome, silly rabbits. Alrighty, guys. I think I'm going to be wrapped up with There's a lot of noises going on outside. I'm going to be wrapped up with speed readings, and I think I'm also going to cut off donations as well. I'm just going to kind of decompress here. Teaching sounds good. Oh, absolutely. I think so. I think that's a perfect, messenger. You're taking information and you're communicating it. You probably are a really good communicator, but teaching is that's almost perfect because you're not doing public speaking. You're not in front of this massive audience, but you're on a more like one-on-one level. But yeah, I will wrap it up there for both speed readings and my head is a little buzzy. And we'll just kind of chat and hang out for a couple more minutes. If you guys have any other questions, not related to like a psychic question, but if you have questions about what I do or maybe a resource or a video, let me know. Again, remember, members, we are going to have our next member only night a week from tonight. So I will see you guys there November 30th. I think it's 7 p.m. Mountain Time. If you go into the community page, you'll already see it up and you can just hit the set reminder button. But yeah, this Friday's video is going to be the gift giving video. I've got a pile of gifts ready to go to film tomorrow, and they're all of my favorite products that I love and use like to this day. I'm kind of like making my essentials list, but I'm also throwing in a few things that are good for like gift giving, which is perfect for the holiday season, and especially for those of you that are going to be doing some online shopping probably this weekend after Thanksgiving and all the Black Friday deals. Cool beans, guys. And just remember to take a look out for those podcasts if you're interested. And yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for being here. This was my thankfulness night, giving back by doing speed readings. I never feel like I'm fast enough. What is happening in the member only videos when your member perks in? You're not in that tier. My plan, Yurika, because I was thinking about it and I was like, those are full-length videos that have good information in it, and I don't want them to just like go to waste. So I've been toying around with the idea of like releasing them way later, like maybe next year, maybe on the weeks like where I'm really struggling to keep up. Got my girls' holiday gifts covered already. Nice. And I should say that these gifts are just as much for yourself. I feel like half the things in the list that I am mentioning was because I just wanted to buy it for myself. I was like, I want this for myself for next year. You should post them on your regular channel. Yeah, I was thinking about it, and I was feeling so bad and guilty because it was like, well, these people paid for this membership tier, and I'm just like, and I hate that I had to even like let go of these membership tiers, but at the same time, it was like some of these tiers only have like 1 or 2 people in them. I'm like, I'm making a whole entire video for 2 people. And again, I do want to come back and do these again. Like I have full intention on doing that, but I just need like way more subscribers so that those membership tiers, like it makes sense for like how much time I'm putting in and how much people are paying for those tiers. But it's basically like right now I'm putting in tons of hours for like $10, if that makes sense. It's just like not feasible. And I don't mean to like boil it down to just that, because I absolutely appreciate like everyone's support. But at the same time, like I was just getting to a point of like burnout, and I really need to make sure I'm not doing that so that my content can be really good. But long story short, I think I might want to release them again to the public. So they will have been really old. The issue is like I talk to the members in it the whole time, and I'm like, ugh. So I need to watch them through and possibly re-edit them. But I mean, I know I have like a meditation video that I made for the members that, that can go up easily for everybody. So they're not going to disappear. they're either going to come up publicly or I'll just save them for when I reopen that membership tier. And I think there's 5 videos in there now. Yeah, it seems kind of wasteful to just let them die, especially because they take so long to make. Use them to fill in. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like maybe one every 2 months or something when I need a week off. You got to see them in advance. Yeah, and I think that I almost wonder if that's how I do the members in the future, is maybe have it that you guys just have advanced screening to it. I don't know. It was a good test run. I'm definitely going to like rethink how I want to do it next time. I think I jumped onto it as soon as I got monetized and I was like, heck yeah, let's do this. But I got too excited too early, and then I was like trying to add things to the levels and you can't edit them and all sorts of good stuff. Sorry, long answer. Because yeah, I think the only question is if some of them are a little too personal and if they shouldn't be public. Because that was kind of the whole thing with it. It was like, oh, they're member videos, so they're a little bit more personal. But yeah. All right, guys. So you know where to find me. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. You can subscribe here. Again, if you're not part of the member only live for next week and you want to know when I'm going to be live next, you can just see on my events list, which is in the description down below. And we have a fun holiday video this week, and then next week we're going to jump back into dreaming. I'm so excited to release that one. It was so funny too. Every time I record a dreaming video, my dreams that night are just like blah. I had a very, very vivid dream that my husband and I walked into a bookstore and this book was being released and my husband really wanted to buy it. He had already bought a copy, but he wanted to go in the bookstore to ask if it was the correct copy. And he goes up to this lady in the bookstore and he's like, he compares the books to her. This is my dream. And he's like, can I see your book? And I'm like, shh, she's reading, leave her alone. And he was like, but my book, I'm pretty sure it's fake. I think my book was written by Bill Cosby. And I don't think that's the right book. And I'm just like, I told my husband this the next morning and I was like, what is this dream? And I'm basically going to be talking about different types of dreams and how sometimes they really don't mean anything and sometimes they absolutely do. Yeah, types of dreams and how to interpret them finally coming out next week. I hope I'm right on that. And then I don't remember what we have after that, but we have more. Have you seen the Disney Villain deck? Yes! Oh my gosh. I'm hoping that I get it for Christmas. I have my half of my Christmas list is literally like tarot decks and oracle decks, but they just released that, right? Like I think a week or so ago. So you can actually buy that now. Thank you for your honesty. You're welcome. Alrighty, folks. Is there anything else? I'm trying to remember what my member video was for this. Oh, yeah, because the member video that I did for this month, I really want to share with people because it's a bunch of scrying exercises using the elements, and I had a lot of fun making that one. Oh, that's fun. I hope she likes them. Are eyes in dreams going to be? I don't know what you mean, but yeah, next week is a dreaming video, and it's going to be about the different types and different techniques on how to interpret them. And then we're following that one up with a psychic dreaming video and then a lucid dreaming video. And these are all going to kind of be spaced out. I'm doing a bunch of like series right now because I'm updating my old Claire videos and adding like way more information to them. When I made my original Claire videos, which are still some of like my top performing videos, which bugs me that, people are seeing these really old videos of me talking about Claire's really inefficiently. And then my new content is really kind of like thought out and concise. And So those have been bugging me a lot, and I wanted to just redo them. And I think it benefits you guys because I left out so much in those. Because I didn't script my videos back then. I just sat down and I was like, I should talk about Claire's, and then I just recorded, and it was whatever. Alrighty, guys, I think I am going to wrap up. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you all have a fantastic Thanksgiving. I will see members next week, and whenever my next live is, it's on my website. I'll see the rest of you guys there. And just know that my new videos go live every Friday, and usually I premiere them so that if you guys have questions, you can ask me in the chat. So I'm usually watching with you guys. If you guys want to chat with me and talk to me and ask me questions about the video. So yeah, have a fantastic rest of your night. And remember to follow me over on Instagram and Facebook. Jump into that Facebook group if you want to stay connected in the meantime. And check out those podcasts, especially if you're interested in Saturn Returns. I'm going to have that I'm going to have that podcast up. I think I only have 2 other official podcasts. Like if you go further down, it's just my videos. I'm kind of thinking about taking them down, but I think my very first official podcast, it was called My Spiritual Awakenings. Let's do a real podcast. Everything below that is all just a YouTube video that I re-uploaded because I heard somewhere that was good and helpful. And it was, but now I'm like, okay, I want to have separate content for this podcast. So if you want to hear about my various like spiritual awakenings and kind of what those look like, and what's funny too is I talked about it and I'm like, oh, and I'm going through a spiritual awakening right now. And I totally didn't realize it was my Saturn return. And I should have just waited, but and then the most recent episode, I talked about building an intuitive brand and kind of just, if you're a more businessy person and you want to learn more about, being a reader, being a psychic, and kind of creating an online presence, that episode is definitely for you. But Saturn return, I'm definitely going to talk about, and that is something that everyone goes through, basically every 30 years. And I'm curious if you guys can remember, if you're older than that, if you remember the age 28, 29, 30, your Saturn return would have happened around then. And usually there's some sort of big upheaval during that time. And I wonder if you guys can remember what was going on in your life. And I wonder if it was Saturn returns. We'll see. But yeah, all right. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Have a fantastic rest of your night. I will see you next time. Bye.